Hello and welcome to another episode of the Jim Powell Report. I'm your host, and today we have a wonderful guest, Dean Bragonier. He's the founder and executive dyslexic of NoticeAbility. And Dean is going to swim around the island, the first person that I've ever met that swum 50 miles. He's about to. He's embarking on this 50-mile swim to raise funds for curriculum. Dean, it's great to have you here on our show today.
Jim, thank you.
Wow, what an adventure. And you've already started? You're 2 or 3 days in it? Started Saturday?
I've done 3 legs so far,
wow.
And it's been exceptional. We've had idyllic conditions, glassy water, bright sun, a lot of enthusiasm and participants so far. So it's off to a great start. It won't be that way for the entire trip, but that's part of the challenge.
I think it's going to be pretty good, though.
Yeah.
I was out. You started at Little Bridge in Oak Bluffs on State Beach.
I started at Little Bridge, and I've determined that going counterclockwise is probably the best strategy. Right, that could also be a dyslexic mistake. I don't know, but no, it's actually. I spent about 3 months studying the charts and double checking with old salty dogs like Buddy Vanderhoop and Nat Benjamin and Dana Gaines, and just making sure that I had identified not only the most favorable currents and tides, but also the most logical way to get around the island safely.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Well, so you started Saturday. You headed out. And where did you wind up? You went by Hart Haven.
I did.
The Fisherman's Pier.
Well, I wound up at the Fisherman's Pier. Now, it was the first morning of the Vineyard Sound Music Festival, so I had to pop out of the water and bust out a little bit of yoga during their pre-festival yoga session, which is documented on the first video blog, and it obviously reveals that my strength is in the water, not in the yoga studio. That becomes painfully apparent.
Well, so this is really a great cause, and I know as a teacher, I taught at the high school for 17 years, and I had a lot of different students, and everybody learns differently, and some students don't understand that. Some teachers don't understand that.
That's
some
true.
People in our community don't, but we all learn differently, and we all have great things to contribute and share and different perspectives. What was it like growing up as a child and going through school as a dyslexic?
You know, it was certainly not what you've just described. It was for the most part, I was constantly cognizant of my difference, and not in a positive way, which is the way I feel today. However, then I was acutely aware of the fact that I was clearly the round peg that couldn't fit into the square hole. And unlike teachers like yours, this is now, close to 35, 40 years ago, many of my teachers and peers looked at my inability to learn how to read as some sort of sign of stupidity or indolence, and I like most dyslexics, got some pretty serious hazing for it. Ridicule certainly from fellow students, but definitely from teachers as well. And that's a pretty tough burden to bear. They actually talk about, we're all familiar with the stress hierarchy, right? And at the top of that stress hierarchy is loss of a loved one or moving or et cetera. There's a similar hierarchy for shame. And those who have a difficulty learning how to read or who are illiterate share the same plateau on the shame scale as people who've survived incest.
Wow.
To give you just an idea of how profound the level of shame is that we feel. And that was definitely a hallmark of my early educational career.
Well, those were pretty ignorant teachers and people. So
I hope they're watching this now.
We're shining some light on it. I'm thinking how great it is to have you here with your successful life and career and your family life. And so we've got you here. Actually, the Martha's Vineyard Times, Nelson Siegelman and editors and Rich Salzberg have done a great job.
Yeah.
Here you are in the Martha's Vineyard Times, getting ready to head out swimming.
Yes.
And I love the fashion. You're very fashionable.
That's actually. I mean, it's the most ugly wetsuit suit you'll ever see in your life, and that's deliberate, actually. I've had the wonderful consultation of Greg Skomel, who is, of course, the shark expert here in Massachusetts, if not nationally, and he and I discussed the various ways that I can mitigate some of the shark risks out there. And obviously, a majority of shark attacks are a case of mistaken identity. The human looks like a seal, and the great white chooses to nibble. And I do not look like a seal.
You don't look like a seal there.
It's hard for me to look like.
Orange light bulbs on you. And so heading out, I know that it's really nice and sandy. Sunday I was out on State Beach with the whole family. We had a big family gathering.
Gorgeous.
And the weather was great. I got a lot of sun.
Yep.
I didn't see any sharks.
No, good.
I didn't even get pinched by any crabs.
Even better.
You know,
Even
how's
better.
your beach experience been?
You know, it's been great. You know, I've got to acknowledge the fact that I feel much safer in the water because Dukes County Sheriff McCormick has been kind enough to allocate his boat and his captain to following me around the entire island. On top of that, the town harbor masters have agreed to double up, which gives me this incredible added level of security, right? You got big guys in big boats with big guns. It's like that makes me feel more secure. I don't know why, but so no, my underwater experience has been exceptional, and I think what's been the most wonderful, unanticipated kind of frill is this incredible group of dyslexic students and parents of dyslexic students who have come out and just popped up in all of these different start and finish places to cheer me on. That's really humbling.
That's great, and you know, it's a real positive solution to try to deal with an issue that you have a personal connection to, and lots of other people do.
Yeah.
And they might not even be aware of it. I remember I worked for a man named Paul Orfila. He was the founder of Kinko's Copies.
Yeah.
He was dyslexic, but he went to University of California, Santa Barbara.
Yep.
He set out a copy machine with a paper cup, make your own copies, and put the money in the jar. After a while, he graduated, opened up Kinko's in the mid-'80s, and it was a pleasure to work for him. He did very well, and I remember FedEx bought him out, so he did really well.
You know, that story is a perfect example of what I'm trying to achieve. And I'm not trying to reinvent the copying business, but what I am trying to do is, very often the traditional educational system focuses on dyslexics and their need for reading remediation, and that is very important. We all need to learn how to read. However, I think that's where the evolution stops when it comes to dyslexic education. And when an individual goes through reading remediation, they become painfully aware of the fact that they don't fit into the traditional mainstream education. They become very battered on a self-esteem level, and that's why I believe a majority of us can make very bad decisions. We represent 50% of all adolescents involved in drug and alcohol abuse. We represent 60% of all kids involved in juvenile delinquency. But as your example just showed, you know, dyslexics, when properly empowered, make up 35% of all entrepreneurs, and 40% of all self-made millionaires, and 50% of all NASA employees. And so you start to scratch your head and you look at this huge delta in outcome. And why is it that we haven't created a solution that allows these individuals who are extremely bright to start channeling that cognitive power into those vocations that not only satisfy them personally, but contribute to society? So that's what NoticeAbility is doing, is I'm creating what I call pre-vocational curricula, which is focusing on those 4 vocational outcomes where dyslexics find the most amount of success: entrepreneurship, engineering, architecture, and the arts. And with the assistance of Harvard University, Tufts University, and the Carroll School up in Lincoln, Massachusetts, we are distilling those 4 subject matters to a middle school appropriate level. And what we are embedding within that is called executive functioning methodology and social emotional learning. These are 2 of the needed tools for dyslexics to succeed in school.
Please.
Exactly. I mean, Howard Gardner is, you know, I mean, he's the godfather of this. But what's nice is that today, in 2015, we have an opportunity to teach dyslexics through multiple modalities, as opposed to focusing on text as the only translation of education. So what I'm using is a platform called edX, which was created by Harvard, MIT, and Stanford. And it's an open source software that enables me to create online learning platforms so that I can offer every one of my lesson plans to the dyslexic student, and they can choose if they want to watch it through a video presentation, an audio presentation, or a pictorial or graphic representation of that lesson plan. So what we're doing is we're removing the text as the barrier to entry, enabling those students to see what it is they're inherently good at, which on a neurological level, and hopefully steer them away from drugs and alcohol and incarceration and towards job creators.
Yeah. Well, that's really neat to think about the delivery modality.
It's essential.
And you know, when you have really good curriculum and you deliver it differently, all of the other students, no matter what their learning style is, will take note and say, wow, this is really interesting, because it's not being delivered the same monotone, colored, you know, black and white. Here's what we're learning today. Wah, wah, wah. Remember the Charlie Brown cartoon?
Totally, totally.
Wah, wah,
that was much of my school experience right there.
I mean, that's how much and students learn so differently. And so a good teacher is aware and orchestrates everything. So that's great. Well, I think this is exciting, and you've got it. And you have really thought it through. You have the thread all the way through, not just from the developing the theory and the plan, the strategy, but you're rolling it out right down to the Lincoln School. That's great.
Yeah, and you know, one of the nice things about this swim project, right, is that I was trying to think of a way to capture some interest in dyslexia in general, but also to create a metaphor for the dyslexic experience. Okay, so a dyslexic going to school is dealing with a tremendous challenge, and with that challenge comes all of these variables and these dynamics that they have to create very, very quick solutions to when others only see problems. And through perseverance, the student can succeed. Now, that's kind of the metaphor for this swim, right? I've got changing tides and elements and weather and, you know, hopefully
Swimming
not big mammals, and but I've got to deal with those. And through perseverance and through the assistance of, you know, members of the community, theoretically, I hope I'll be able to succeed in finishing this. And so that created a narrative that I thought would resonate with people.
Yeah, a lot of people from all the towns. I mean, by going all the way around the island, you're raising awareness all around the island.
Yes. Yeah,
literally,
exactly. Literally.
Yeah,
literally.
And so then, it also just isn't a one-day deal.
Right.
It's taking several days. Oh, where's Waldo?
Yeah.
You know, where's Dean?
Exactly.
Where's Dean today?
Exactly.
Dean is right here. And I remember how it took off. The Where's Waldo book series took off. And so this model could wind up being picked up, or, you know, it's going to benefit you and all the other people, parents and students, and you brought that up earlier. That's awesome.
And, you know, one of the things, you're exactly right, is that was the narrative I was after, and embracing the community is exactly what I was hoping for. And I think one of the smartest things I've done is gone and hired a young graduate from the Martha's Vineyard High School, who's just got out this year. And in large part, thanks to MVTV, he is got this arsenal of camera equipment, and he is tasked with the responsibility of creating a video blog for each one of these swims.
Hey, let's see it.
Oh, yeah.
Let's take a look.
I would love to show you one. May we?
Yeah, sure. Let's take a look.
All right.
And as we look at it, want to narrate and just tell us a little bit about what we're seeing?
Yeah, sure. Well, this first clip is on day one, where on my start, which was really a wonderful surprise to see so many people kicking off my swim, and I decided to appoint a VIP member of the dyslexic community to appear in each one of these video blogs. And so, of course, I started off with my 7-year-old dyslexic son, Dean Bragonier, and he appears in it. lot of anticipation, you know? It's good to finally be in this place. So,
what do you think about the conditions?
man, this is epic. Are you kidding? It's glass out here, and yeah, we got the Harborman, the Oak Bluffs Harbor Master is about to roll in, and the Dukes County Sheriff boat and captain. So I'm pretty psyched, you know, and no, I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling really good. There's been this tremendous outpouring of support. There's a bunch of dyslexic kids that have just shown up, which is awesome. I got a full belly of food from the Artcliff Diner, my rocket fuel, and so I'm feeling good.
I'm always holding you, however far you go.
I was talking about my superpowers a little bit earlier. Could you tell people at home what your superpowers are?
Making friends is one of mine.
That's a really good superpower.
Architecture.
You like architecture?
Yeah, architecture is fun. I'm not the best at it, but I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
You may be a lot of things, but you're not alone. You're not alone. You may be a lot of things.
This is the Shark Shield.
Not alone.
This is a company out of Australia that creates this contraption. I wear it on my ankle. When I turn it on, it emits a radio frequency that creates a sort of a bubble around me. And apparently when great whites go to attack somebody wearing any shark, it messes with the sensory receptors in their snouts and discourages them.
So far away, I sing along to make the time go by. You may be a lot of things, but you're not alone. You're not alone. You may be a lot of things,
There was
but
a
you're not alone.
long period of time where I was walking on eggshells literally every moment of my life, trying not to give them, the normal people, any more clues that I was abnormal. I wish that I could go back and tell that little kid that one day I'd be sitting on a beach surrounded by a group of dyslexics who are completely jacked up about this ridiculous swim, and to know that I would one day have the capacity to launch an organization that was garnering attention and support. I think that little kid would feel a lot better about himself and a lot less trepidation and fear and shame. The next episode features a member of the graduating class of 2015 from the Martha's Vineyard High School with dyslexia, swimmer on the swim team, and is now headed into the Navy. And he provides this wonderful commentary about how his dyslexia forged the sort of mentality and can-do attitude that he feels is going to give him success in the Navy. Today second VIP dyslexic. This is Josh Boucher. He is a recent graduate from the Martha's Vineyard High School and a proud dyslexic. Thanks for being here, brother. I appreciate it.
Until she found that it was only getting earlier that
The best way to describe it is just challenging.
Challenging.
Yeah. I mean, like, you can't, I never was able to go to a single Spanish class because I had to go to special reading classes, which makes you feel kinda dumb.
Yeah. It's being singled out. It's like the first walk of shame.
There is nothing that I can do but belong to you. Heaven and earth, and I find myself singing this song for you. As luck would have it, it just so happens that there's nothing I'd rather do.
With having, like, even your superiors doubt you, like, I had my 8th grade reading teacher yell at me because I couldn't read properly. Like, we're in the reading class, and she's like, stop screwing around and read. And I'm like, I am reading to the best of my ability right now.
All this rambling, I'm glad to finally find. After all, I haven't just been wasting my time. There is nothing that I can do but belong to you. Heaven and earth, and I find myself singing this song for you. As luck would have it, it just so happens that there's nothing I'd rather do. Just so long as you're flying around high, whatever you find out in the sky, don't forget to fall down sometimes. I'm easy to find, look around you. It's a good
United
thing
States
that
Naval
I
Service.
finally
Well, I wanted to be in the military since I was, like, in kindergarten. But I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and when I was a junior in high school, I kind of figured, screw it, I'll do whatever I can put my mind to, because growing up with being the only dyslexic kid in the family and having my sister, my cousins all be extremely brilliant people was pretty demeaning, but it definitely gave me a drive and a will to, like, never give up, like, that they can't compete with, which is, but it's somewhere I can push myself and success, like, excel in my own way. And serving your country, I just think, is something nothing else, like, in the world can compete with.
Great.
And there's many.
Great.
There's a couple of stars coming up on the line too.
like
Some recognizable faces. Let's put it that way.
That's great. And what I like is that you have taken your challenge, and you know, some people take a lot for granted. I think a lot of us take what we have for granted, but you know, to be able to look at any challenge you have, you know, it's just feeling your strength, seeing your example, knowing that you're going out, and there are going to be a lot of people coming forward.
Well, I hope so, and that's, you know, and that's the genesis of the name of the organization, right? If it's meant as a double entendre. So if you notice my ability, you see NoticeAbility, right?
That's right.
NoticeAbility, no disability, and that's really what I think the dyslexic community desperately needs, is for people to stop looking at us as deficient in some way, start noticing what we're exceptional at. Yeah.
Look at the strengths. Yes.
Look, Kinko's? What?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's a pretty big ability right there to launch something like that, you know?
And even the name Kinko's
Yeah.
was funny. And
Did he tell you why he called it Kinko's?
Because that's his nickname.
Oh,
He
really?
is really kinky. He was really a laid-back California surfer.
Oh, that's
He was good at
great.
it, and he was there at UCSB and had kind of flowing reddish-brown hair. And I've met him and worked with him before. And so I actually was his regional marketing director in a western region of the country. And so it was really neat to see him bring people in. And his slogan was, "Great copies, great people."
Beautiful.
And you know, we constantly had training, and we did things from different angles. And if it wasn't done right, it was done over.
Yeah.
And so you put the if there was any blame, it was just, hey, we have to make these look perfect.
Yeah.
It didn't matter how we got there.
Yeah.
Just we had to get there. And you're getting there by swimming the 50 miles from Oak Bluffs around. What's it going to be like going from East Chop to West Chop?
Well, that was actually, we swam that yesterday. And
Holy
that was,
cow.
I mean, we've got a video
wanna see
blog
that.
of that. And, you know, it was actually, we had somebody who brought out a drone to videotape us, and we got some amazing shots of that. There was probably 15 to 20 swimmers yesterday.
Holy
and
cow.
it was really exceptional because Camp Jabberwocky brought down a bunch of their campers who were also in some of our spotter kayaks, which was amazing. So we had the community supporting an invisible disability blended with a visible disability community all in one. So it was an amazing, it was quite an emotional swim yesterday. Sammy.
When there's love in the air, you see people making faces like they just don't care. Because love is simple, love is free, love is there for you and me. When there's love it in love. When there's love it in love. Love it in love. When there's love, when there is love. When there's love it in love. When there's love it in love. When there's love it in love. When there's love, when there is love.
The two gentlemen that I swam with last summer who kind of generated this whole idea are joining me. This is the East Chop, West Chop swim. And if you see here, we've got an incredible amount of support.
Everywhere, because love is happy and love is kind, love is yours and love is mine. When there's love it in love. When there's love it in love. When there's love it in love. When there's love, when there is love. When there's love it in love. When there's love it in love. When there's love it in love. When there's love, when there is love.
So this was such a cool event. A lot of people were asking, do we want to do it next year? What do you think? Absolutely. And let's have a humongous hand for our guests of honor, Camp Jabberwocky.
Except a fight with the boys who are doomed. Fall in love, beg me by your side. Please marry me, be my tomboy bride.
gosh, that's incredible.
Yeah, no, I'm pleased.
Well, and you'll be making your way down towards Lambert's Cove after
Lambert's
a while.
Cove, I can't wait for that North Shore. The North Shore, which is what I start tomorrow, is going to be beautiful. The South Shore gives me some concerns.
Well,
I've got to be
just
honest.
some riptides, that's all.
Riptides, and Greg Scomola once again feels that is Sharkville, if there is a Sharkville.
If there is, but not this time of the year.
Thank you.
Not
I
until
hope not.
August, really. I have fished around and off of Martha's Vineyard a lot as a surf fisherman.
Yeah.
And you're not going to have to worry about anything.
Yes, except for the fact that I will be swimming that in August.
Well, hey.
Can you
it's been nice
reflect? Yeah, hey, well,
No,
at least you know.
You'll do it. We had
I'm
you here
excited.
I'm glad we're interviewing you now.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's
Dark,
great.
dark,
because,
Jim, dark.
You know, and then when you get off of Lobsterville Beach, and the beautiful Sandbar Dogfish Bar.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you can just imagine, and then you round the Gay Head Lighthouse.
Oh, the Devil's Bridge is going to be amazing.
That is beautiful through there.
Yep.
I'm just thinking, what it'd be like, you know, you can only tell, just like in that movie in Jaws, or that line in the movie Jaws, you can only tell it's an island from the water.
Exactly.
And you are going to see every inch of the island.
I'm really excited for that.
Wow.
I'm really excited. And the topography that I've seen beneath the water already is really so diverse. And all of the marine life, I mean, following these big, massive stripers that are kind of coming up to check me out and then, you know, go off into the depths.
Really?
So amazing.
Wow.
So amazing. It's a really, so far it's been a very hospitable environment. Let's hope it stays that way.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. So if somebody wants to come out, they can go online to check and see what your schedule is?
Yeah, they can send me
look
an email. There are some considerations that we need to think about, namely speed of swimmer, the challenges of a particular leg, and my point is my intention is not to put too much additional stress on the sheriff's department or the harbor master. So I do have to take those considerations into account, and I'm also in constant contact with the U.S. Coast Guard, which has permitted this entire swim. So
you had to go through all levels.
yeah, but you know, I got to tell
together.
you, you know, as just a shout out for red tape. Sometimes it can be incredibly fun. I've had these. I mean, I've got U.S. Coast Guard members coming out to voluntarily paddle next to me because they believe in what I'm doing.
Awesome.
The Dukes County Sheriff, man, Sheriff McCormick's the guy.
Mike McCormick, all right.
He's the guy.
But you're a man today, and we're going to be following you around the island. I can't believe how fast the time has gone.
I wish we had another hour and a half, Jim. You know I could fill it. All right.
Well, we'll let you get planning your next leg of the swim, and it's great to have you on the show.
Thank you so much, my friend.
We'll send you some money for your organization.
Wonderful.
That's great.
Wonderful.
And,
thank you.
Thanks for being on our show.
I appreciate it.
And thanks for watching this program with Dean Bragonier. He's the founder and executive dyslexic of NoticeAbility. He's swimming 50 miles, the whole distance around Martha's Vineyard, to raise awareness and money for curriculum development for dyslexics. And we're glad you've been watching the show. Help out if you can. I'm Jim Powell, your host. We'll see you real soon.